Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Bristol Motor Speedway, the world's fastest half mile. And despite straightaways barely 200 yards long, it's a very fast racetrack. The secret is in the variable banking in the 300-yard corners. You may not have much room to accelerate off one corner before shutting down to the next, but with steep banking, up to 30 degrees, there's not much loss of speed when you get there. And the all-concrete racing surface provides great traction. With 153,000 seats arrayed in grandstands all the way around the racetrack, Bristol looks more like a football stadium on steroids than a typical track. Veteran drivers have described racing at this East Tennessee Speed Emporium as the equivalent of flying a fighter jet in a gymnasium. So it's not surprising that every NASCAR Cup Series race draws a massive crowd. Still, the best seat in the house is the one behind the wheel, but it's sure not a relaxing one, with laps ticking by at less than 15 seconds. Oh, and the compact nature of the track means there are infield pits on both the front and back straightaways, so drivers have that added complication to deal with. Open for competition in 1961, Bristol has had a number of remodels over the years, and several owners as well. It's been under its current owner, Speedway Motorsports, that Bristol has enjoyed its greatest period of growth. Tonight, it's race number 9 of the Vigilante Racing League, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway, night number 2 of action here at this high-banked half mile. Let's take a look at the race details tonight. 200 laps the race distance, 90% humidity, 67-degree ambient temperature, overcast skies, 8-mile-per-hour breeze, track temperature nice and cool at 69 degrees Fahrenheit. Drivers working with 50% fuel load tonight, 2 sets of tires over the wall, no fast repairs, and just one attempt at a green-white checkered finish if necessary. Again, it's Bristol, baby. We might run into that here tonight. We'll see how things play out. Practice in the books, qualifying just about wrapped up here at the Speedway as well. Current top time is the 51 of Dylan Bryant, but on the track right now, it's the 10 of Andrew Cawthon. 14.597 for Cawthon. He sits 11th on the grid. About 6 trucks have not taken the time 7 if you count Chandler Paul. Chandler went out and tried to get some laps in qualifying here. Does not show a time of record for Chandler, so maybe he got into the wall there, invalidated those laps. But with 10 seconds left in the session, I think that's going to do it for qualifying here at Bristol. So again, qualifying in the books, it's time to take a look at our starting grid. On the pole position with a lap time of 14.484, it's the 51 of Dylan Bryant. Outside front row, it's the 68 of Dustin Wade, missed it by 25 thousandths of a second. Row number 2, it's the 33 of Alan Vaught and the 88 of Mike Adamson. Row 3, it'll be John McAdam and Larry Dickerson. Row 4, Jack Dixon and Ricky Wittenberg. Row 5 rolls the 14 of Dustin Eaton and Dave Mayberry. Starting 11th, it'll be the 10 of Andrew Cawthon, flanked by the 01 of Kelly Cool. 13th starter, it's the 6 of Trevor Robertson, and Andrew Player will start 14th. 15th, Albert Anderson. Craig Goodenough, 16th. George Rincon starts in the 17th spot. Deion Jones, 18th. 19th starter is DW Derek Welch. Russ Kilgore will start to his right elbow in the 20th spot. 21st goes to Greg Dobson. 22nd, Jonathan Osborne. 23rd, 5 of Anthony Williams. Austin Paul rolls 24th. Stoney Benfield starts 25th. 26th is Mike Everidge. Kyle Vaught, 27th. Kevin Hunt will start in the 28th position. Chandler Paul will start 29th. 30th goes to John Gallagher. And last but not least, keep an eye on the 53 here tonight. Jeremiah Burke starting 31st shotgun on the field from Bristol Motor Speedway. That's our starting grid. Couple of chatters already. Got Albert Anderson, go get him, son. Tim McAdam, hey, Steve, have a great night. It's the 47's night tonight. We'll see, I guess. That's all we can do. Don't take those hats to victory lane until the checkered flag waves. Looks like we're trying to get everybody on the grid here tonight. Jeremiah Burke late to the grid, but he's there now, so I think we're going to get rolling here in just a moment. Beautiful sight. And there they roll off a pit lane. Should be 2 pace laps, could be as many as 3 if they have to get people lined out for penalties. Did run into that a little bit last night. At front row, going to be Dylan Bryant and Dustin Wade. I believe that'll stay the same. Again, we'll look at our race details again this evening. 200 laps, the race distance, 67-degree air temp, 90% humidity, overcast skies, 8-mile-per-hour breeze. Track temp nice and cool, 69 degrees Fahrenheit, 50% fuel load on board. That should be good for about 70 laps. Not real optimistic we're going to get through a full fuel run without a caution or 2 or 3 or 4. We'll see how things play out there. 2 sets of tires over the wall, no fast repairs, and 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish. If, and only if, we need it. Field entering turn 3. Should have the green the next time by. And pace truck hits pit lane, so here we go. Green flag in the air. We're racing from Bristol. Brian out to the early lead. Wade and Vaught battle for the second position. Wade hangs on to it for now. Alan Vaught tucks back into that third spot where he started. Top 3 positions unchanged to this point, 3 laps in. John McAdam, though, talked about him already in the early start to this series, or this race for that matter. It's his night, is it? We'll see. He runs 4th, already up 1 spot. Took that away from Mike Adamson. Adamson in the 88 truck behind him in the 5th spot. Adamson making a look to the bottom here. McAdam's going to keep it up top. We saw this a little bit last night. It seemed that the top lane is where you wanted to be to carry that run out of the corner. It's a great way to defend. You really need to force the truck to the bottom, work that slide job to take the spot, but then you got to rely on the driver that you pass to not run into the back of your truck.
Caution.
And caution on the Speedway. John Osborne in trouble. Oh, Osborne gets hit again here at start-finish. Checking on the chat again, we've got Osvaldo Servino Meja. I love that name. I'm probably saying it wrong still, but either way. Says, let's go 16. Stick with the plan. Little typo, but I got you. So let's see what happened here. Caution number 1. I think it's for John Osborne out of turn 4. Here's the replay. By himself. Saw a lot of this last night. On exit, gets power down a little too soon. Maybe a little bit too much left wheel. Oh, man, Gallagher just drills him in the door. Now, I want to talk about this, too, because we saw this a lot last night as well, and it's not necessarily the driver's not paying attention. This place is very difficult to really gauge and really see. We'll take a look at it on board here with Gallagher. Between the banking and the radius of the corner, you could have a car truck stopped there, and there you have it. He didn't really see much of anything there. Plus, he was blinded by the truck in front of him. Made the move to the left. Now, constructive criticism there, I would say just stay in line behind the truck that you're following, because, yeah, he might hit him too, but if he makes it through, then you're going to make it through. It's a gamble. It's just the way it works sometimes. But Osborne's going to get back out there. Craig Goodenough was involved in this too, possibly? Well, I don't think that was part of it. So we roll behind the iRacing pace truck yet again. First caution of the night. As we finish up this caution, we do have Chris Goins up in the broadcast booth yet again for us. It seems to be a routine with VRL. Chris, thanks for jumping up.
Hey, what's going on, Steve? How you doing?
We're doing good. Finishing up caution number 1. We got 10 laps in. It'll be lap 11 when we take the green here.
Green flag.
And green back in the air. Bryant gets away. Battle for second again. Dustin Wade inside of McAdam. McAdam took advantage there on the restart. Tim McAdam again in the chat earlier on, prior to the green flag, said this is the 47's night. See if it can come to fruition. So far, so good. On board with John McAdam. And he's got the spot. He gets clear.
Caution.
And yellow is out.
Homeboy.
I think Jeremiah Burke involved in this. He sits in pit lane. No, I don't think that was it. Well, if anybody's got any data on what triggered that caution, I've got nothing on my end to indicate why the yellow came out. Looks like Osborne and Anthony Williams and Mike Everidge coming together. There is the reason for caution number 2. Same color flag, same driver number. So let's unpack this one again here. We'll watch it unfold. I think it happens out of 4, yes. A little loose on exit for Osborne. He might have had it saved, but then Everidge gets into him and kind of finishes the job. So, Chris, I know you ran here last night. A little bit shorter race in the Num Thumbs Racing League. What was your take on the racing festivities last evening?
It went better than expected. What you just saw from the 81 happened a lot. This place is really loose on exit. I actually destroyed the truck coming across the line to take the checkered. Racing Larry for third last night. But you'll see a lot of it just slip sliding, especially as the runs go on. And hopefully we just able to have everybody maintain it and save that truck on exit.
Did want to talk to you about that too. I know you ended up finishing 4th last night, but what was the actual cause of the incident out of 4 coming to the stripe last night? Did you just get loose, or was there some contact that initiated that?
Oh no, my foot was just in the floor and I wasn't lifting. So it was, we were coming to the line, and I was racing with Larry and Justin was hot on our tails too. So I was actually trying to, if I'm being honest, I was trying to get to Larry's bumper and maybe slide him up the track a little bit, but I couldn't quite get there, but just loose off the corner, just putting full throttle into it.
Pays more to win. Checking on the stream chat again. We've got Trouble cheering on Dave. Lori Vaught saying hello. Taylor Provac says, great night for VRL Racing. Let's go 33 and 16. Thanks for checking in, everybody. So front row will be Dylan Bryant and John McAdam. Bryant will restart on the outside.
Green flag.
And green is in the air. So Bryant able to get away a truck length and a half back to the second place battle. It's Alan Vaught and John McAdam side by side for second. 68 of Dustin Wade there in 4th, trying to pick a lane to stick with right now. He's going to hang to the outside. Alan Vaught gets clear and Dustin Wade goes around. Up the racetrack in front of traffic, and we got a big wreck on the front straightaway. What a mess right at start finish. Dustin Wade, Andrew Player, DW Derek Welch, Albert Anderson, Russ Kilgore, George Rincon, Dustin Eaton, and others all involved in this. Caution on the speedway yet again. Lap 22, caution number 3, and perfect timing, Juan Valdez. I thought that was the coffee guy, but it goes over under on more than 12 cautions this race. Well, I think we ended up with 13 last night, and that was about 45 laps less scheduled distance, so I'm going to go over. Let's unpack this one, too. Let's see exactly how this one started. I think we kind of caught it live as Wade was hard into the corner. Truck just came around, and on the correction went up the racetrack into traffic. Oh, man. I know it's almost impossible to make the decision perfectly every time, but when you get it crossed up that far sideways, you've got that much opposite lock into it, you're almost better off just holding the brake there and sliding, and even if you hit the inside wall, because if that thing bites and goes up the racetrack like the 68 did, it's going to be a mess for a lot of other drivers.
Yeah, and everything happens so fast here too. I mean, even locking it down, you got guys on you so quickly as you're sliding that, I mean, you're bound to get collected in it at some point. So natural instinct, obviously, like you said, just to kind of try and counter steer it. But yeah, when that thing catches, it catches hard and right in front of everybody.
especially at a place like this. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit already prior to you jumping up into the booth, and we saw Gallagher get into Osborne on our first caution long after Osborne had stopped, but perpendicular right at start finish. The radius at this track, combined with the banking that it has, you really don't get to see a whole lot until you are back to that straightaway. So if there is somebody parked on the straightaway, you don't have a whole lot of time to react. Again, I think it's 300 yards is the distance of these straightaways. When you're moving over 100 miles an hour, you're surpassing that in a hurry.
Yeah, absolutely. From entry to after mid corner, all you're seeing is where you are. You can kind of see a little bit easier coming out, but when you're in the middle of the corner, if something's happening at the end, you're not seeing it till you're already on it. So it's so hard to see, and especially if you're right up behind somebody else. I mean, I had a hard time seeing last night. You know, Albert went around for the first caution, and I didn't even know he was down there until I was going past him. Luckily, he was on the apron.
25 laps in here at Bristol Motor Speedway, working caution number 3. We are doubled up, ready for the restart. We know Lori likes to send these guys single file if things don't get cleaned up. We'll see if that happens if we get more of these cautions. Front row is going to be Dylan Bryant, Alan Vaught. Pace truck hits pit lane. And look at old Larry Dickerson in that second row. He was fast last night. We'll see if we can see more of this tonight. Little rolling start there for the 51 of Bryant. Caught everybody else off guard. Allen's going to take that second spot handily as Larry Dickerson gets the wall. So McAdam runs fourth. Trevor Robertson up to the 5th position.
Caution.
And caution's out again.
Caution.
Dustin Wade again.
Kind of talk me through what's going on again.
Oh, and Derek Welch hits the inside wall. Let's watch the Dustin Wade incident first. Oh, just goes up the track. Got in too hot. Andrew Player, Anthony Williams, Derek Welch all involved in this. Welch has got some major front end damage. I think that's what brought him down in that wall. I think Welch is going to park it. His night done early.
That left front was all sorts of messed up. And one thing with Wade, you know, you see the back end damage that he's got with these trucks, the way that they are now, especially with this tight of a track and that tight radius in the corners. Any little damage makes this thing so wicked loose. So if he got in and it started to come around just a little bit in the rear, and when he tried to catch it, it slid up the track. It looked like into the, I think it was the 5. But any little bit of damage makes these things really hard to drive.
I want to go back and watch it again. It almost looked like they just didn't want to turn. I don't know if he had a correction there or not, but it seemed like, I mean, he may have had some front end damage as well. No, it stepped out on him. You're right. Back end kicked out just a touch and in the correction back up the racetrack. But I think he might have been a little weary from that first correction that he made in the last caution. Didn't want to overdo it. And in this case, I think he underdid it. Either way, what started out to be a decent night for Dustin Wade quickly circling the drain. Man, the stream chat's busy tonight. Kathy A saying good evening. Edith Anderson in there as well. Thanks for checking in, everybody. So as you can see, we're doubled up here, ready for the restart yet again. Field out at 2. Kelly Cool getting caught up to the tail end. Kelly 24th, still on the lead lap. Pace truck is in.
Green flag.
Wow, Bryant fired right off again. Bryant just trying to get into a groove here. Alan Vaught about 2.5 truck lengths off the tailgate of the 51. Back to start finish, lap 34 up on the board. McAdam back to third. Dickerson fourth. Adamson fifth. Further down the top 10 is Robertson, good enough. Dave Mayberry, Andrew Coffin, Greg Dobson. That's the top 10.
Sitting here watching Alan, Steve, it's kind of funny because he's running basically the same line that I ran most of the race last night. You got a lot of guys up by the wall, get that run off the corner, but there's just something about that low line through the corner that it suits my style, and it looks like it suits Alan. And to me, it's a little bit easier to save tire because you're not throwing as much yaw out to when you're keeping the speed up as you are on the top side.
I gotta guess that it kind of helps that loose on exit condition too, because if you're working the low side of the track, you kind of open up that wheel as you put the power down versus putting more wheel into it while you're trying to accelerate out.
Yeah, because if you watch him coming off, like you mentioned, he's kind of straight. He's kind of straight out towards the wall, whereas the guys that are on the high side are
in the wall.
Turning with the radius.
Caution number 5 on the Speedway. Kelly Cool facing the wrong direction. I think Chandler Paul, the other vehicle involved. Kelly trying to get squared here and gets clipped again. Anthony Williams runs into the back, uses the pace truck as a pick. Not in a good way either. I think Kelly just sustained significantly more damage than I think the initial crash did, and Kelly's going to go back to the pits. He's going to tow. Let's take a look at the first portion of this. Man, Kelly was loose from entry all the way to exit. Thought it was Bristol dirt for a minute. So very similar to what we saw with Dustin Wade, though. Got that thing hung right out, drifting through the corner, and then all of a sudden gets to the flat of the racetrack, and it bites up the racetrack. Thankfully, only one other truck collected him. But then we'll watch this here. Kelly tries to get righted in front of the pace truck. Anthony Williams doesn't see him coming, and boom. So, Chris, what is really the best way, at least here at Bristol, to save the truck when it starts to step out on power, on exit like that? Obviously, the natural inclination for some drivers is to maybe put some right turn into it, steer into the spin. Other drivers may opt to just aggressively lift off throttle, knowing that that spinning rear tire is what's causing the truck to break loose. But sometimes guys don't want to do that because it unloads the rear of the truck and puts more weight on those front tires, making it a little more loose. So what's really the best way, at least in your experience?
Well, if it's on exit, for me, the easiest thing for me to do is kind of just jab the brake. Jabbing the brake will kind of nose dive it down, give you a little bit more grip in the front, and you can kind of steer out of it. Now you're probably going to slap the left sides of the inside wall, but it's better than head on or going back up and across the track. If it's entry, good luck. Just because that happens a lot here. You get loose getting in, and it's just you're just along for the ride at that point. I don't think you really save it very much.
Green flag.
Green flag back in the air here at Bristol. Bryant and Dickerson on the front row. Bryant in command, and we saw a lot of this last night too, as the truck that was within the front, out in front leading, had the clean air. Yes, it does make a difference here at Bristol, but also not a lot of traffic out in front of the 51. Seemed to be in command, has that advantage in being out front. especially on these restarts. Furthermore, here, Albert Anderson in the chat, the driver, not the Papa Anderson. It says extensive damage, 8 minutes of repairs on pit road. Thank you for coming out, everyone. So night over for the 99.
Yeah, Steve, I was talking to Albert pre-race, and he and I have a very similar outlook on these type of tracks. It's, you expect to get hit, get turned, and you just hope that you can avoid the major damage. And unfortunately, that tonight just wasn't a night where he could do that. Yeah.
Speaking of damage, Robertson getting his Bristol stripe on the right side of that number 6 machine. Robertson in the 6 up top. To the bottom, it's Craig Goodenough in the 89, and I thought they might have come together there getting into turn 1. Just a touch, and up front, Alan Vaught goes around.
Save. How was your car?
Don't know if that was contact initiated or not. Of course, we're going to replay it. We're going to find out. Alan did a good job straightening that thing out as quick as possible, though, so the rest of the field didn't just destroy him. But caution number 6, only 50 laps in. Larry Dickerson, no, contact, got into the back bumper. And I got to say this too, Chris, watching that one, I don't know if there was some bad blood between these two, but Larry, once he got into him, he never lifted.
Now you took the words right out of my mouth. It just looked like once he got to him, he just drove through him, finished him off.
He lifted a little. You can hear the RPM come down, but I think you got to do a little bit more than lift there. You got to get on those binders a little bit more. I think Alan would have been okay. But again, kind of what we talked about just a few moments ago here with Albert Anderson's comments. It's Bristol. It's close quarters. We talked about it in the open. It's like flying a fighter jet in a gymnasium. It's chaotic. And the other part of this, too, if you go back and listen to last night's broadcast from Numb Thumbs, is Larry Dickerson's interview. He finished 3rd last night. He was dejected. He really felt like he gave that one away last night, so you know he's going to be on a mission here to try and win this thing tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had a really strong truck. He had some bad luck in the middle and was able to, pull it out there at the end with the top 3 for sure. So I think he was not looking for that caution there at the end, but hopefully he is able to keep it up front and keep it clean tonight, as far as keep it straight. And I think he's got a good shot to pull this off. He's really strong around that top side.
Base truck is in.
Green flag.
Green flag back in the air, and the caution's out.
Quickly tell me about your car if you can.
Not sure why we got a caution there. Don't think anybody really crashed. I know traditionally they do not throw admin cautions in this league, so I'm not sure. I don't show any indication as to why. Nope, it's not the 5. Well, I'm not sure. Lori, if you're listening, if you've got any insight as to what brought caution number 7 out, let us know in the chat. Kind of want to say it might have been Anthony Williams leaving pit lane. Maybe he's too high, maybe he was too slow. The algorithm picked it up. I don't know. Albert Anderson in the chat, though, says, I'm back on the track, 621 laps down. Well, if we keep getting cautions at this rate, you'll get a lucky dog eventually.
Never know, may end up with enough lucky dogs to get back on the lead lap.
There you go. That's kind of what I meant. I just couldn't get the words out. And in all seriousness, last night we had quite a bit of cautions as well. Kind of shorter race, but you guys still put on a really good race. I mean, honestly, it was nowhere near the frustration level that we experienced at Martinsville, really with both leagues a couple weeks ago. I know Lori and Derek Welch both have decided that they're not going to run Martinsville again in these trucks at least.
Yeah, and that's disappointing for me. I really love Martinsville, but Bristol is a much higher speed track. You're not really using the brakes as much, at least in the trucks. I mean, later in the run, if you get a longer run for the tires and stuff, you kind of woe it down a little bit with it. But for the most part, this is the higher banks make it a little bit easier to manage. Those flat corners at Martinsville are so sharp and so narrow. One wrong move, and that caution's coming out, and the track is so narrow. So this one lends to better racing for sure, even with the cautions. I know we had a couple of decent runs last night, and then that green-white checkered was just wild to be a part of.
Update from Chandler Paul says, couldn't avoid the 01 of Kelly Cool, had nowhere to go, still have 5 minutes of optional left, 13 minutes. Hopefully I can get back out there and make up some positions. Chandler Paul, driver number 72. Kind of what we thought with that replay. You can't see much. It's too hard to get woed down in time.
Green flag.
Green back in the air. Dylan Bryan on throttle again. The battle will be for second. Larry Dickerson, John McAdam. McAdam in the 47. Already to the outside in turns 1 and 2. And Craig Goodenough looks to the bottom. He wants third. Goodenough looked for second, couldn't get it done. Stays in that third spot. Dickerson second. Bryant running away, almost a half-second advantage already. Battle now Trevor Robertson and John McAdam. Robertson getting it done on the bottom of the racetrack and did the slide job. McAdam didn't want to lift. Gave the back bumper a little kiss just to say, hey, I didn't appreciate that, but you're welcome for not wrecking you. Kyle Vaught back in the 15th position, up 12 positions from the start of this race. With the cautions that we've had, he's really moving forward pretty quickly. Bryant still out in front. Larry Dickerson closing the gap, though. It's now just over 3/10. Dickerson realizing Goodenough, he's got the pace behind him. He's got to go now. Little botched entry into turn 1, up the racetrack, into the fence. Goodenough almost making contact with Dickerson. On board with the 69 of Larry Dickerson, looking back at Craig Goodenough. This the battle still for the second spot. Andrew Player, lap truck, going to yield to the top side.
Caution.
And caution on the Speedway.
Bud, why don't you give me status on your car there?
Andrew Cawthon involved in this. Dustin Eaton as well. Everidge and Cawthon come together. So pit stops underway. Caution number 8, lap 70. Dylan Bryant going to come down and pit for the first time tonight. I think we'll see a set of tires on the 51, don't you think, Chris?
I would imagine so, yeah. I missed the beginning. Sorry, I was getting a hot dog in concession, lost track of time. But what? How many tire sets do we have in this?
2 sets, just like last night, but about 45 laps longer distance.
Oh, that's going to be a little tricky then. I know a lot of the guys last night only used one set. I used both, but I know McCann and Connor in front of me you only used one set, so I imagine they will definitely be using both sets here with the extra 45 laps.
I mean, it all comes down really to how many more cautions do we get. You're not burning off these tires too much under yellow.
No, you're not, but especially if you're running that high line, you're definitely using them up. And I've changed tires and I still had 95% left on them, and I was still sliding around quite a bit. So they make a big difference. Now, if you get stuck in traffic with them, you're in a little trouble because it's hard to pass on the bottom, and everybody likes to run that top. So.
We saw that a lot last night too, late in the run. Some guys taking the chance, pitting late for that last set of tires, where the guys that were out front leading only had that one set bolted on, and there was a huge difference in pace. See if that comes to fruition later on. Green flag back in the air. The 4 does not fire. Deion Jones very slow on the restart, loses some ground. Craig Goodenough, now the new leader here with Dylan Bryant second, Robertson third, Dickerson and Jones the rest of the top 5. Kyle Vaughn way up the racetrack, might have got the wall a bit. Deion Jones, again, still in that 6th spot. He did not pit this time either, so he's out there on a little bit older tires, and we're already seeing the difference in pace. Battle for the race lead. Bryant to the bottom of the racetrack. Gets it done on the low side. Bryant back to the point. Dylan Bryant lights out fast here tonight at Bristol as we approach halfway.
Caution.
And caution on the Speedway again.
Can you walk me through a lap here, please?
Mayberry facing the wrong way. Just enough contact with the 4 Jones. Looks like Kelly Cool went for a ride too. I believe that was the 01. Kelly, I think he was locking it up on Albert Anderson. Maybe didn't see the Mayberry truck there up top of the racetrack. Didn't hit anything, so we'll continue on. So, Chris, I know we keep asking you all these fun driver-type questions, but how difficult is it to really settle into a rhythm when you've got a race where you keep getting caution? I know cautions breed cautions, but how difficult is it to really kind of settle into that?
Well, with these restarts being double file and everything like that, you don't know if you're going to be on the top or the bottom until, you tell, but you're not in a set spot, right? So you've got to make sure that your truck is working on both sides. So it's really hard to kind of manage which side you want to be on and where you want to run, because on this one, you'll see Goodenough is beside Dylan and they may want to run the same line. And if you're comfortable running the same line as the guy in front of you, then if you have to switch it up, it's tough. So, getting kind of settled in that rhythm, you figure out where your truck works best. You can, manage the tires. You can manage the condition of the truck. Brake bias helps a lot here as the run goes on. But, with the double file restarts and the frequency of them, it's hard to really know where your truck's going to work best and to get to that spot.
Now, with the track changing throughout the course of the race, obviously as it rubbers in, obviously track temperature changes. It's going to change how the truck handles. That top lane or that bottom lane may or may not be the place that you want to be. So you might have to hunt around, at least during green flag conditions. Obviously, that becomes more of a challenge. It's almost like getting 5, 6, 7, 8 lap practice sessions at a time. Then the yellow comes out and you got to make a decision.
Yep, exactly. And as the run goes on, you get the marbles up top. You got to slide down. I mean, you don't have much time to figure that out when you're going caution.
Green flag.
Green back in the air. Dylan Bryant sharp on throttle yet again. Battle for second. Good enough and Dickerson. Dickerson at the top. Now Dickerson to the bottom of the racetrack, looking for the race lead. Settles back in behind Bryant. I think if anybody's got anything for Dylan Bryant, it's Dickerson or Goodenough. Those two guys, second and third here. Now they're going to start to battle for that position. That's really the best thing that Bryant can see out the rearview mirror is those two trying to fight. Built some distance back to second. He had a gap prior to the caution. Those two, even while they battled, were able to reel him in. They weren't really able to do anything with him, but then the yellow came back out. See if we can get a longer run in here. See if Dickerson's got anything on the long run for Dylan Bryant. Dickerson putting some distance back to Goodenough now.
Caution, caution.
And caution's out again. Mayberry in trouble.
Did you happen to get a look at your temps when you're on track right after that caution fell?
We got Jenna in the chat, says, my man's doing good. Jenna, who's your man? Let us know. Caution number 10 here for Dave Mayberry. By himself. Loose on exit. He's one of many. Don't feel bad there, Dave. So Craig Goodenough is going to come down and pit here, take some tires. He's a little off sequence, so he's going to lose some track position here, but he will have fresher tires to go back on the attack. We saw that out of you last night. You got a little bit off sequence. Again, you also had to start, I think, from the 20th position after a penalty. You were able to work through the field relatively short order. Really, what was the key there? Was it trying to just take advantage on the restarts, or was it just kind of pick them off here and there?
It was a lot of trying to pick them off on the restarts for sure. On the restarts, like we talked about earlier, I liked the bottom side. So when they were stacking up on the top side, everybody wanted that top end. So on the bottom, I was able to kind of pick cars off a couple of laps, things like that. So I did pit for tires with about 40 to go, I roughly. And just tried to kind of manage and work my way back up through. I was kind of hoping for a longer run for green to try and have them come in a little bit more compared to everybody else. But overall, I mean, it worked out. But it was uneventful race for me. So that was the key to it, was just being able to keep it clean.
As we work caution number 10, Craig Goodenough was not the only driver to come down and pit. Pretty much everybody from 12th on down lead lap truck-wise, came down to pit. George Rincon, kind of an anomaly there. He pit, but only took fuel. So good enough. Looks like he's going to restart about 13th with fresh rubber. Oh, and one gets turned by the 28. I don't know what's going on there.
Green flag.
Very interesting.
I don't know. I've never seen that one before.
They were 3 wide. My guess is Kelly was just trying to get shuttled down in line, and Rincon didn't want him to do it. I don't know. Craig Goodenough already in that 13th spot, challenging for position. Try to take full advantage of those new tires, but nowhere to go right now with Rincon in front. Deion Jones to the inside. Here comes Dustin Eaton. Eaton's running 14th. Craig Goodenough now 12th, gets clear of Rincon. Deion Jones drives to the bottom. I don't know if that was a block or if he didn't see him coming. Goodenough's going to switch lanes here, try to go around Jones on the outside. Goodenough gets clear, sets his sights now on the 2 of Ross Kilgore. That would be a top 10 position if he can get it. Couple of laps shy of halfway. We got an answer out of Jenna in the chat. Larry Dickerson is the man in question. Larry is absolutely doing well, running in that 2nd spot. Goodenough, though, on a tear. It's like watching Earnhardt go through the field here back in the day.
A little less bumper rub, though.
I just always think back to Earnhardt going up the gut. I think he was splitting Mark Martin and Terry Labonte. I could be wrong on that, but just was that much later getting out of the gas into the corner and just split them right down the middle.
Yep, sometimes that's how you got to do it. You just got to put your nose in where you hope it isn't supposed to be and hope that it stays there.
I guess when you have the reputation that Dale did, both those guys know he's not lifting, so better not turn down.
Especially Terry at Bristol.
Back out front, Dylan Bryant continues to dominate, but I got to say it, last night's winner was not the dominant truck, so you've got to get to that last lap. You've got to cross that line first if you want to pick up the win. You can look impressive and lead a whole bunch of laps, but you've got to put the whole thing together. You have to execute. Just past halfway here at Bristol Motor Speedway, we're going to take our one and only track limit side-by-side break. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Bristol Motor Speedway, working caution number 11 here. Bryant continues to lead. Now, you saw that in the side-by-side. Chandler Paul loose out of corner number 4, I believe it was corner 4, right in front of the leaders. Now, Dylan Bryant did make contact with Chandler Paul. It was very minor. May not have inflicted really any damage, but something to keep an eye on here as we go back green flag racing. Oh, Dickerson way up the racetrack in the fence. Jacks up the 6 of Robertson as well. Good enough now to the outside. Good enough all over the back bumper of Larry Dickerson. This for the second spot. Dickerson goes to the bottom, looking for the race lead. This has kind of been his MO here on the restarts. Get there within the first couple of laps and make a challenge. It's been on the bottom every time, but now Bryant in the wall twice, trying to defend real loose off of 4. Real loose as well as Dickerson gets in a good enough. He's going to drift it through 1 and 2, and he saves it. Wow.
That is so hard to do here. That loose on entry and sideways on entry will, I mean, it's a death sentence half the time, but that was a really impressive save there by Larry.
Yeah, and he was down there on the flat of the racetrack trying to save it too. You got to make a huge adjustment when you get down to the bottom like that. We've seen that twice tonight, and both drivers ended up shooting up the racetrack into traffic. Dickerson managed to straighten it back out. Back to the front, though. Bryant continues to lead the battle still. Second place between Goodenough and Robertson. Robertson now a truck and a half off the tailgate of the 89. Goodenough closing the gap on Bryant. I'm starting to wonder now if there's an issue here with the 51 of Bryant. I know there's about a 20-lap difference in tires between these two, but how much of that's really green flag difference, you know?
Yeah.
Caution's out.
Caution is out.
Be ready with, there you go, be ready with that brake clean and stuff, guys. Your blower, because they're going to drop down some oil dry here, I'm sure.
Mayberry around again, puts us under caution for the 12th time tonight, and I think this came out just before Goodenough got clear of Bryant. So Dylan will maintain the race lead when we go back to the green here, but let's take a look what happened just a moment ago. The 29 of Mayberry. So he was on the bottom of the track. Looks like he might have some right front damage there. What was that? So it looks like, I think it's Hunt. Did he have an issue off of 4 as well? Yes, he did. He got loose. That's what sent him down the racetrack. Right place, right time, I guess.
Yeah.
Any other lap, there wouldn't have been anybody there. He would have just continued right on.
Those things happen like that too. We saw that at Daytona, I believe it was, with Russ Kilgore. Got a pit road violation and came out well behind where he was going to be, and he got involved in an accident because of it.
And you're like an elephant. I can't remember any of that.
Going back to what we were talking about with Dylan and Craig, they're battling. Tires may be a little bit different. Look at the back of Dylan's tailgate. Does it look like it's maybe pushed in just a little bit? Because that, I mean, as small as that damage can be, it can affect the balance of that truck. But I can't quite tell. I could just be seeing things on my end, but
looks
to me it looked like it was pushing a little bit.
Tiny bit of right rear damage. Let's see if I can get a better look on the roof cam. They're going to be doubled up here in a minute, though. Yeah, it just looks like right rear a little tiny bit.
I don't think it's significant enough to do what I'm thinking it's doing.
Spoiler looks
it may
straight.
just be a tire. Yeah, it may just be a tire difference. He did look loose coming off the corner quite a bit there for a while.
He really hasn't had to do a whole lot of defending here tonight, so that can kind of get your ears up a little bit, knowing you got some guy behind you that's fast. You kind of overdrive a little bit, and then you get yourself in trouble.
Green flag.
Green back in the air. Good enough with a good turn out of 2. Nose is ahead of Bryant, and he's clear.
Wow. The grip he had through the middle and exit of that corner was unreal to pass Dylan as quickly and as easily as he did there on the bottom.
Special tires. Side by side for second now. Dickerson trying to take advantage as well. Nothing doing for the 69 just yet. He'll ride in third. Average now in the 5th spot, battling with John McAdam. Now Craig Goodenough checking out. Almost a full second. Back to Dylan Bryant, who's been so dominant here tonight. Keeping in mind, though, Bryant made his first pit stop at lap 70 for tires, his one and only stop. Craig Goodenough was lap 90. So there's the advantage. Now that'll flip-flop around here when Bryant makes his next pit stop, takes his last set of tires. He's in that window where he could do that against 70 laps on fuel if we go all the way to the end on green. I don't see that happening. Stranger things have happened. Kelly Cool in the 23rd spot. Not a position.
Caution.
And yellow out again.
You can look at your steps for me right there.
Kevin Hunt in trouble. And our replay guys are on it tonight. Almost the same thing for the last time, except he comes around all the way, gets the inside wall. Gotta love the drone.
Especially a place like this, you can see everything.
So here comes the field. Pit stops. Lap 137. This is plenty to get them to the end on tires and fuel, and this is going to put Goodenough and Bryant back on the same strategy yet again. So the advantage that Goodenough had will go away. The only benefit is here you can pick his lane for this restart. Before tires and fuel for Craig Goodenough. Right side of the air for Dylan Bryant. He's got that preferred pit exit. Drops the jack, heads out, and he beats Goodenough. So George Rincon stayed out on the racetrack. His pit stop coming last at lap 110, so he hasn't been out there all that long, and realistically, he might be able to make it to the end. Juan Valdez on his over-under. I said over. I win. Caution number 13 here at Bristol. So in this case, with Dylan Bryant on stickers, George Rincon out there, 27 lap older tires. He picked the outside as the restart, but I think Bryant's going to drive right around
Green
on the
flag.
bottom. Green flag in the air.
Yeah, I think you'll see it. It'll probably happen second or third green lap would be my guess, but let me see him do it right here going into 3. Those tires are really loose. It takes a minute for them to come in.
Bryant just being patient here, and there he goes. Takes the lead back from the 20 to George Rincon. Good enough up to second. And the battle continues. On board with George Rincon as he runs in the tire tracks of Dylan Bryant. Robertson runs third. Larry Dickerson has been in that top 5 almost all night long. He runs fourth. Rincon hanging on to 5th for now. Everidge working his way through. Everidge pit also on this last caution, so he's got newer tires as well. Kyle Vaught working his way forward. Big time mover of Kyle Vaught. He's up 19, 20 spots if he can get McAdam here. Started 27th tonight. McAdam's able to hang on, jumps to the inside of George Rincon. So move McAdam to 6th as long as he can get clear here. Larry Dickerson on the charge. He's now up to 3rd. He gets clear of Robertson. Robertson crosses over, jumps back to the inside. Not going to make it that easy. Slide job and another crossover. Dickerson to the bottom now. Takes the 3rd spot back. Great racing here at Bristol. Battle for position here. Kyle Vaught into the 7th spot if he gets clear of the 28 machine. Still side by side. Into 3. Now a change for the lead, or was it? Bryant was there. They're into some lap traffic. Good enough had it for a moment, but now they're working through some slower traffic. Cawthon and Hunt both get a piece of the wall on the exit of the corner. Bryant stretches it back out again here to about half a second. Hunt in the wall again. Dylan Bryant flying. Last lap of 14.92, now runs a 14.93. You know who else is flying? 69 of Larry Dickerson, running a 14.95. Robertson's closed back in, though, jumps to the inside. It's a battle for third yet again. Really think Bryant just got caught into some lap traffic there. That's what allowed Goodenough to close the gap, because he stretched it out again now, almost a full second back to second place. Got Jenna in the chat, says, I'm a new fan of this type of virtual reality. Pretty interesting. Yeah, we like to pretend it's real. A bunch of adult children over here.
Actually grow up. No fun in that.
Bryant continues to lead and dominate here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Almost a full second back to second place. Greg Goodenough. Deion Jones tucks in behind. He's a lap down or more. 15th place, but one lap down. First truck, one lap down. He'll get the lucky dog on the next caution. Chandler Paul in the chat says we should have played the caution drinking game. Take a shot for every caution. Obviously not while driving. I would almost be open to do that as a broadcaster, as long as everybody knew that was the plan. So by the time it's over, I'm lit.
Yeah, no judgment from the fans. Yeah. Hey, everybody's got to have a hobby, right?
Robertson not really letting the 69 of Dickerson get too far out in front of him. It's a truck length to 2 each and every lap. Bryant's fired into some traffic again. You see the deficit shrinking quickly. It's going to allow Goodenough to close that gap. Nowhere for Bryant to go right now is Adamson and Player side by side. Adamson trying to stay on the lead lap. 3 wide ahead of the leaders now. Got to be careful through here. Goodenough is there. Really got to tiptoe through these guys. 30 laps to go.
And this is the crazy part about Bristol, Steve. You know, as the leader, you're fighting through this lap traffic, but these guys are racing for position 2 with the 88 and 13. So, you know, they're not just going to move out of your way. They're going to fight for their spots. So you kind of have to kind of fit your way through it and just hope that you catch it in a good spot to maintain your own position.
I mean, it's battling for positions, but also trying to stay on the lead lap at the same time. I mean, it's not like Adamson's 3-4 laps down. He's the last truck on the lead lap right now. He wants to stay there. Now he's the first truck 1 lap down, so he's going to give everybody else behind him a hard time because he wants that lucky dog.
Yep. And then these two, the top 2 getting stuck in, allowed Larry to catch back up. Then he got caught in the middle of those guys too. So, you know, it's a accordion back and forth thing.
Caution.
And we've got a yellow. Mike Everidge, Dustin Eaton.
Quickly.
Trouble on the front stretch here, coming to 25 to go. And that pace truck's going to turn lap records out here.
I was getting ready to say, I thought it was somebody driving there for a second.
That should be an option, by the way.
Yeah, I agree.
iRacing should allow an actual driver to run the pace truck. Well, caution 14 here with about 25 to go. Let's take a look at it. It was Mike Everidge and Dustin Eaton coming together. Eaton was up off the bottom. Oh, they checked up and then chain reaction after that. Try and get a better look at this here, see what caused that. I know Adamson checked up pretty hard. Oh, he was trying to save it. A little tank slap in the middle of the corner.
He already had that rear end damage from somewhere before the 14 got into it. I don't know where that came from exactly, but that.
You made that comment as well, how the rear damage on these trucks, especially here, really loosens up the truck.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. When I noticed it in practice, it was how bad it really got. I mean, I only had like 20 seconds worth of optionals, and it was almost undrivable. So that rear end damage is no joke. So I'm curious to see how the 14 and the 82 drive now, especially with that rear end damage that the 14 did get.
Looks like Everidge has lost a lap in this exchange. Eaton has stayed out. This truck actually looks decent. A little bit of buckling in the right rear. That's going to hurt the side force on that truck. So like you were saying there, Chris, that's going to cause a loose condition for sure. We'll have to keep an eye on him. So we'll get the restart here with 22 to go.
Green, green, green.
Bryant gets the advantage again here, a couple laps after the restart. Good enough, back about 3/10, 20 laps to go. Robertson is taking the third spot from Larry Dickerson. Dickerson going to try and get it back, but to no avail. Gets it up in the outside wall, loses a bit of ground. Now it's going to open the door for Larry Dickerson to take advantage. John McAdam to take advantage of Larry Dickerson, but now Robertson's in the wall. Gotta wonder if Larry's just pushing too hard at this point, Chris.
Yeah, when you lose that spot, you want to try immediately to get it back, and sometimes you just got to kind of let it settle in and ride. And as you see, he's kind of touching the wall through almost every corner now. And he's definitely overdriving it a little bit. And he's got to let it settle back down, and he'll pick him back off. He's got the speed to get back up there. He's just got to kind of calm down, get his heart rate back down, and just ride from it.
Time running out here, 16 to go. Dickerson runs in the 5th position. McAdam marching forward, though. Now on the attack to Trevor Robertson. Got to make a note here, George Rincon in the 6th position in that number 28 Wheaties machine. He made a pit stop here, lap 176, took his last set of tires. Checked up a little bit by Robertson. Robertson had to save the truck, but Rincon's easily going to take the spot, move the 28 to 4th. I think another restart would really put the 28 in a primo position.
I agree, but I don't know that he necessarily wants to see it. He doesn't want everybody to get bunched back up, because if you get more cautions, then it gives you less time to make your way through.
Oh, Dylan Bryant into Mike Adamson as the race leader. Big hit for the 51. Look how much shorter the front end of that truck has gotten. Night likely over for Dylan Bryant. Certainly no chance at winning this one now. And we talked about it earlier, how last night Connor Leach dominated the race, couldn't execute the finish and win it. And that's going to be the same story here for Dylan Bryant. Unfortunately, not of his doing, I do not believe. Let's take a look, see exactly what happened just a moment ago. Oh, man. Nowhere to go. And I don't think he ever saw him. What's the line from Days of Thunder? The rule is you go straight for him.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if he went straight for him, he would have missed him, because you see the self-cleaning racetrack we have here at Bristol, it sent the 88 down the track, and that's where Bryant was turning to avoid. Tough break. Tough break for Bryant. Big break for Craig Goodenough.
An even bigger break for that 28, up to second now.
Really opens up the opportunity for him to win this race. Again, he's got to execute. He's got to get it done. He has the tire advantage, so that's in his favor. But he's got to get it done. He's got to do it. What's the line Canal says? Put him up on the dashboard, buddy. Let's go. So we get the one to go here. We'll get the restart with 8 laps remaining. 4 miles to get it done for George Rincon. We do have an opportunity to do one green-white checkered finish if necessary, as we work caution number 15. I want to make a note there. Just watch the 47, John McAdam, lose connection there briefly. He disappears, not just to us, but all the competitors as well. That becomes a major problem. The new update with iRacing will eventually force him out. But if not, just hope it doesn't creep up when we're racing and it causes another issue. Pace truck is in.
Green flag.
Very good enough down into turn 1. And Rincon, the exit of the lifetime out of turn 2 to the inside for the race lead. Rincon, I don't know who led that one. That was close, but 7 laps to go. Still has to get clear of Craig Goodenough. And he's got it. Coming to 6 laps to go. He's got to hang on now. McAdam still battling connection issues. Five laps remain for George Rincon. Rincon, the biggest lead we've seen all night long, 1.5 seconds as McAdam takes it from Goodenough. Craig's going to try and battle back around the outside. This is exactly what Rincon wants to see. These guys fighting it out, giving him some breathing room here with 2.5 to go. He's just got to cross his fingers here to get to that white flag before the caution comes out. One more lap to come around for the white for George Rincon. He's being ginger with it. There it is, final lap. McAdam gets the spot from good enough. Now Andrew Player is going to try and take it as well. Rincon into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Out of turn number 4, Rincon from 17th. He'll win it at Bristol. Second place was John McAdam. One short of the prediction. Andrew Player will come home third. A lot of respect there, Rincon getting some congratulations from his fellow competitors. Don't usually see a lot of burnouts in this league. I'm really hoping George lights them up here.
Or at least goes up to the up the ramp now that they've opened that up.
Yeah, I saw that last night with Brian McCann. That was pretty cool. George Rincon looking for victory lane. Well, with that, we'll step aside here, get our break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Bristol Motor Speedway, a thrilling finish here at Bristol. George Rincon taking the checkered flag. We'll see if we can get the driver of the Goodweiser, number 28, into the broadcast booth and have a word with our race winner. George, it's Steve and Chris with Track Limits. You got us?
I do. Thank you.
George, congratulations, man. A 17th starting position, not too shabby considering about mid-pack, but took some tires late in this race with about 25 to go that really set you up to drive through the field. Caution comes out late, restart with about 11 laps to go, and man, you earned it and then drove away. Walk us through the closing laps here at Bristol.
Well, I noticed I had 40 laps fresher tires than everybody up there in the top, 10, 12 positions. Player was the only one that pitted with me. I think that actually I really wasn't worried about him because he had too many positions to take up place. So when I got by Craig, then I knew it was pretty much home free from there because nobody was. I mean, Craig's good and fast. Trevor's good and fast. It was just all about patience tonight. I mean, if you follow me at all in the race, I basically pitted every caution in the beginning. Stayed on the lead lap and wanted to save that last set of tires for the last run, and the cards fell in my lap. So I love this racetrack, though. It's a shame that we're probably not going to come back here, but I love these short tracks. I think they're a lot of fun.
Well, honestly, I think tonight was a significantly better race than what we saw at Martinsville a couple of weeks ago. I don't know what the difference really was. I know we still had a bunch of cautions here tonight, but this one was still exciting. We had the same situation last night. I don't know. I think Lori and Alan's got some thinking to do on this one. I think I know what her initial thought is, but I don't think we need to necessarily throw this one out just yet. With that said, though, George, congrats again on the win here tonight. We look forward 2 weeks to Talladega Super Speedway, obviously taking the break for the Easter holiday. What's your mindset getting into the Super Speedway after the half-mile high banks here in Bristol?
Well, the unfortunate thing is that I'm in the process of moving from California to Georgia, so I don't know if I will be there because that's going to be, we're supposed to close right around that race time. So this is probably going to be it for me for a month or two, I'm guessing. I don't know. It's just up in the air. It's real unfortunate, but sometimes life just makes changes.
Being an adult sucks, doesn't it?
An old adult too, and I'd like to say, I think it only, what are we in our 12th season here or something? It only took me 12 seasons and 4,000 races to get a win, but it's a win's a win's a win. So I want to thank Lori and Jess for everything they do. I know Lori puts up with a lot, has to deal with a lot. I used to do it, I couldn't do it, and I won't do it again. So I'm thankful for that. And I want to thank all the guys over at Goodweiser Motorsports. Everybody collaborates together. Mike and Chandler and Anthony, Stoney. I hope they can get this deal cleared up with Stoney. He wasn't meaning any ill will or anything. He was just basically being polite and speaking his mind. So I hope that they can clear that up because Stoney is a good addition to VRL. And then of course you guys, love your broadcast. You guys do an awesome job, and I can't. It's amazing how you're on top of things there, and Chris coming in and helping you out is just gone to another level. So appreciate you guys.
Well, George, congrats again. Thanks for the kind words, man. Good luck with that move, and hope to see you back here, maybe in Victory Lane here sooner than later, man. Thanks for talking to us.
I hope so. Thank you very much.
It's George Rincon, your race winner here from Bristol Motor Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to our runner-up, John McAdam. Pull the driver, the number 47, into the broadcast booth. Get a word with John. John, it's Steve and Chris at Track Limits. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
John, congratulations, man. 5th place to 2nd place. That's hard to be disappointed with, but you had a fast truck out there. The prediction was you were going to win it here tonight. Just came up one short, man. Walk us through your race.
Yeah, we did a good job qualifying up front and just tried to hold track position, and that's kind of the name of the game here with that top being the way it is. And got a little behind on that last pit stop. I restarted 12th and just had to work my way back up. Kind of tried to save tires once I got up to 6th, and almost worked out, but tires got us there at the end. But still, all in all, good run. I've been having a pretty bad season, but it worked out tonight.
2nd place, a good medicine here as we get into the Easter break here. Talladega Super Speedway coming up in 2 weeks. How do you prepare for the Super Speedway after the high banks here in Bristol?
well, it'll be a different kind of chaos, right? Yeah, probably going to try and just stay up front in that one, too. Get in the back. We've tried that before, and it never seems to work out. So I think we're going to try and get to the front, work together with Team Outcast, and see what happens.
All right, John. Well, congratulations again. Who do you want to shout out to before I let you go?
Yeah, thanks. Just Lori and Allen for the awesome job they do with this league, and you guys for the broadcast, people watching. My parents been watching, a couple buddies been watching, so that's always cool. We're not racing in real life anymore, but this kind of takes the itch off a little bit. So, yeah.
All right, John. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Enjoy the holiday off here, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks in Talladega.
Sounds good. Thank you.
It's John McAdam, your runner-up at Bristol here. Next, and last but not least, the 13 of Andrew Player from Concord, New Hampshire. Let's get a word with our third place finisher, Andrew Player. It's Steve and Chris with Track Limits. Do you got a copy?
I got you. How you doing tonight?
We're doing good, Andrew. Congratulations, man. Third place from a 14th place start, about mid-pack here at Bristol. Walk us through your race. How did you work your way through the traffic, avoid the chaos? I know pretty much everybody's got some bent sheet metal tonight, as well we kind of always expect here at Bristol. But what was the game plan coming in? Did you stick to it?
The game plan was to do like I did on Monday and start on the pole and try and lead as many laps, and that went out the window when I screwed up qualifying. So I started mid-pack. I got involved in both of those crashes early on, the first two yellows, and that really just kind of put my night behind the 8 ball the rest of the evening. So it was just a matter of perseverance from that point of trying to stay no more than 1 or 2 laps down, trying to get my damage fixed, and it finally timed out right there at the very end where I had a set of tires with like 50 to go. I knew everybody else had taken them a while before that, so threw in those freshies and let her rip and see what I could get out at the end of it there. So it worked out pretty good for me. I'll take that.
Worked out for a couple of you guys. Of course, George Rincon, he pit the same time you did, lap 176 there. Fresh tires certainly make a huge difference. Almost got you up in that runner-up position, but third place, not too shabby either. So congratulations there. We look forward now, a couple of weeks out, Talladega Super Speedway, a completely different kind of chaos was the way John McAdam explained it. What's your take on Talladega Super Speedway we head to here in a couple of weeks?
It's a little bit like Bristol, trying to avoid the chaos, and hopefully you're there for the finish to make a run at it. It's really what it boils down to, trying to run fast, having teammates out there to help with the draft, and hopefully you keep the car clean, and like I say, just be there at the end. That's the big thing with Dega and Daytona, those restrictor plates, is just being there to finish.
Certainly what it's all about. Andrew, I got to ask too, do you currently live in Concord?
I do. Yes, I do.
Well, I travel there quite a bit for my day job, so the next time I'm in that area, maybe we can grab a burger and a beer.
Sounds like a plan.
With that said, congratulations on the top 3 finish here at Bristol. Who do you want to thank before I kick you out of here?
First and foremost, my wife and family for putting up with me doing this little hobby of mine down in the basement, so I appreciate their support. Thanks to McConey Setup Shop. They've been a long-time sponsor of mine, so I appreciate them as well. Obviously, Jess and Lori for all they do for this league. It's a lot of work to put up a league and a lot of heartburn and heartache, and they've gotten a fortunate new share of it this season, it seems like. So definitely want to thank them for what they do and put in this league and make it such a great place to be around folks. And obviously my team tag mates, a great group of guys to race with and have a blast with them. And obviously you guys as well for being here for us. We appreciate you. All
right, Andrew. Well, thanks for talking to us. Congrats again, and good luck in a couple of weeks.
Thank you much. Hopefully see you soon.
Andrew Player, your third place finisher here at Bristol Motor Speedway. That's going to do it for the interview portion of tonight's broadcast. Let's take a look at the race results. Of course, George Rincon, your race winner here tonight. Second was John McAdam. Andrew Player was third. Fourth place went to Trevor Robertson. Craig Goodenough, a strong truck, just couldn't hang against those fresh tires. He'll finish fifth. Larry Dickerson was sixth, throwing all sorts of cuss words out, I'm told. He gets that sixth spot after really trying to improve his finishing position from last night's third. He'll jump back to P6. Kyle Vaught, biggest mover, hard charger award if there is one. He's up 20 spots. He finishes in the 7th position. Greg Dobson was 8th. Russ Kilgore 9th. Dustin Eaton was 10th. Austin Paul finished 11th. Deion Jones was 12th. Jack Dixon 13th. Andrew Cawthon finished in the 14th spot. 15th, Mike Everidge. Kevin Hunt was 16th. 17th place, the 81 of John Osborne. Dylan Bryant. I don't want to know what was said there in the closing laps. He had this thing locked up. Dominant performance tonight. Ends up getting taken out in a crash. Not of his doing late in this race. He'll finish 18th. Dustin Wade, 19th. He was fast early as well. Dave Mayberry had a struggling night. Finishes 20th. Albert Anderson, 21st. Mike Adamson involved in that wreck with Dylan Bryant. He finishes 22nd. Kelly Cool was 23rd. Chandler Paul, 24th. Alan Vaught out early here as well. He finishes 25th. Anthony Williams was 26th. DW Derek Welch, a very poor finish tonight for the 21. Unfortunately, he'll come home 27th. Ricky Wittenberg, 28th. Jeremiah Burke, 29th. John Gallagher was 30th. And last but not least, 143 laps down, the 75 Estonie Benfield finishes 31st. That'll wrap it up for us here in tonight's broadcast. Chris, thanks for joining us as always. I got to tell you that the drivers certainly do seem to appreciate your insight from a driver's perspective here in the booth, and I just like having somebody to talk to. I like it. I don't like being lonely up here.
Well, no, I definitely appreciate it. It's a nice perspective to be able to know what they're going through. I like to be able to. I know I live it on Tuesdays, but it's nice to be able to see other people having the same scenarios that I'm running into, so I don't feel so bad about myself.
Well, there's a reason Fox and NBC usually puts a couple of drivers up in the booth, because they really do need that perspective, and it helps us too here as well, so we certainly appreciate that. With that, moving forward here, as we said, we are off next week for the Easter holiday. We return on the 30th of April, Talladega Super Speedway for 80 laps. Then it's Texas, then Kansas. Then looks like we get the All-Star race here at North Wilkesboro. There may be something involved there between both of the leagues, Numb Thumbs and VRL. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be the case. I'm not even sure if they're having me broadcast it yet. I'm going to assume that they're going to, but I don't know if it's been discussed. Nevertheless, then Charlotte, Nashville, Michigan, Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. I didn't even realize that track was on iRacing. I hope it is. That's something I'm certainly looking forward to, just because you know how I am, Chris, with the road courses. You kind of care for them too, as well. But then Pocono and then Atlanta to wrap up the first half of the season. Again, we follow the true NASCAR schedule. So if you're ever wondering where we're at, just turn the race on Sunday, and that's where we're going to be running at. It's going to do it for us. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. We'll see you guys at the next one. Happy Easter, everybody. Have a good night.